Hey everyone, I'm Tony.
And I'm Kristen.
And we're absolutely stubborn. Boo. So today we're bringing you another episode update on coronavirus, which has surprised everyone on how it's affected everything. I mean, socially, what hasn't it affected really? So I'm going to go to the screen now and kind of show you where we stand currently. So right now we are at 415,728 confirmed people infected. Total deaths 18,571. 108,000 people recovered. Almost 40,000 people infected today. 2,248 deaths today, and 6,684 people recovered today. So definitely a lot more people have recovered than died, which is great. But that's still a pretty big number. So now, granted, this is a website that I've been using for quite a while, corona.help. I don't know how accurate a lot of these sites are, considering that there's a lot of people that probably have this and haven't been, well, actually probably know for sure more people than not have this. It's just reality.
Yeah, it is, because they're saying that there's not enough tests, I think. And I know on the radio they were saying recently new locations of where there's testings here in Miami. And for example, for us, they didn't say anything of where we're at. We would literally have to drive to, I think they said they're going to have testing like in the Marlin Stadium. That's how far we would have to drive. And we're about, like an hour from there? So if you feel like shit and you think you have coronavirus, you think you could drive an hour. So I think a lot of people are also just not getting tested. I think they're calling the hospital or the doctor over the phone, and then they tell them, oh, I don't think you have it, stay quarantined and whatnot. And so who knows if they really have it or not, because they're not even being tested for it. They're just assuming because they may not have a certain symptom like fever, something to that effect.
Because everybody reacts differently to it.
Right.
Some people have very mild symptoms. Some people have, obviously, worst case scenario. And they say that the problem is that surfaces can if somebody touches a surface, like with mucus, like let's say they wipe their nose and they touch a surface. I'm just saying, how else would it happen? Or they cough, particles go flying.
Yeah, even just a cough or
it'll
they're
stay on
touching
the
their own
surface for a
face
while.
and they have it. I mean, you're breathing on yourself, and then
it'll stay on the surface for a while, and people will get the, you'll just touch it and it's super infectious. It's like a flu in that sense, where it's, just the slightest touch or contact with it. You're most likely going to be contaminated with it. So back to the scene here. So let's go down to see this. So it's incredible that China has pretty much plateaued. So let me click on China to see how that. They only have 5,000 cases active right now. I think that's what I saw just now. So they had a total of 81,590 people infected.
And I want to say last week when we did an update, it was around that same
that's what I'm saying, that
amount.
It's pretty much plateaued. You can see it here on this histogram, where the infected history has pretty much leveled out. There was even 1 week or 1 day where it actually decreased a bit. But it's been pretty flat. You can see that March 2nd, so almost a month ago now, 3 weeks ago, give or take, they had 79,826 cases, so almost 80,000. And today they have 81. So it's gone up, but it's controlled.
Compared, right, not as much as it was in the beginning, obviously.
Correct.
But still scary.
So recovery history. So a lot of people have recovered, which is great. Let me see back here. Active cases have gone down like crazy. Look at that. That's amazing.
So that's there because of the way that they've quarantined everybody. And made everybody stay inside. But here, it's selective on the state that you live in.
Well, that's the whole thing. So you have countries that are like China that have locked down and gone, like hardcore, like everybody, it's got to like just hold up. And then there's like Italy as well. Spain, I think, are the same. So is that the right approach? We're pretty much there. I know that California, I think, has a. I don't know. I don't think they're on complete lockdown.
I don't know if it's all of California or certain parts of California, but I do know that yes, they have to stay home, and the only time that you can go out is to the pharmacy, a veterinarian, I guess, if your animal is sick, grocery stores, things like that, the essentials. It's like that in a couple places, but it's not like that everywhere here. So that's the thing. I mean, I feel like they should just do that, just get it over with, because we're just prolonging it by not doing it in some areas and then doing it in others, you know? So,
so here we have
crazy.
Italy. So think about it. Italy is how tiny is Italy compared to China, right?
Right.
They have currently almost 70,000 cases, and it keeps going up. I mean, they've escalated like crazy.
Wow. And didn't they go on lockdown already, though? So we should hopefully see them starting
they have
to plateau.
I just don't know how long ago that was. The thing with Italy, from what I remember someone saying, which makes sense, is they have a lot of homes with multiple generations in it. So like your grandma, it's like a Cuban house. Like your grandma, your great grandma, everybody's living in that house, you know? So then the young people go out, or the kids go to school or whatever, they come back and they infect the crap out of everybody.
Of course. Well, they shouldn't be going to school. They should have that stuff closed like they have it here.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Or, I mean, I'm sure real estate over there is pretty expensive. So they have to, it just makes sense for I forget what the term is, but long story short, yeah, a lot of multiple generations living in one household. It's just so easy to spread, and they live pretty close together. So I'm not sure if it's like more apartment buildings or just
home-ish kind of houses.
So they get, basically it's just a lot easier to spread, and which makes sense. Look at here, look at New York. New York is now like the epicenter of this.
Which makes sense because I guess bigger cities in that sense where it's all condominium.
Getting on the subway, everybody's so close together.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So. Yeah, New York. I think New York is actually on the lockdown of only grocery stores and the essentials because they have way more cases.
Yeah.
Then I saw a meme. So we have to make light of things. I think that you have to laugh because if not, we're just going to all go crazy. So there's just so many memes out there on the coronavirus that I crack up at all the time. And I saw one today of New York that said the government made it snow to see if we're leaving our house because apparently it snowed in New York. I thought that was pretty funny.
I mean, yeah, I agree. You have to kind of laugh a little bit because if you don't, then
you go crazy. I mean, as it is, I've said it before. I am a homebody. I am an introvert. I mean, this is Tony's biggest dream come true to have to stay home. But as much as I love to stay home and be home, I'm going on 2 weeks and I'm going a little crazy. And I'm kind of sad because we were going to go to Disney World for spring break. Our son is 4 years old, so he was finally, getting excited about it. So we had to cancel that trip. Thankfully, we canceled it because Disney ended up closing. So we didn't lose our deposit on the place we were going to stay at. But then at least I thought, okay, well, we're not going to Disney when all this started happening. Okay, we're not going to Disney, but at least, we can go to the beach and I can do stuff with him. And now it's just, we're just stuck. So that does definitely suck. But I think people just, as much as it sucks and how hard it is for other people, because if it's hard for me and I'm an introvert and I like to be home, imagine how hard it is for all those extroverts that love to constantly be out and hanging out with people. It's very hard on them. They can literally, I'm sure some people are probably going into a depression because that type of person, that type of personality, this is very, very hard for them to stay still. And those are probably most of the people that are going out there and spreading it because they're not staying home and they just need to stay home. We recently had in Miami, the marinas were open and people were taking their boats out. That's awesome. Go, with your immediate family on your boat, go fishing, hang out on your boat, out to sea, get out for some fresh air. But no, they all decided to go into, what is it called?
I don't know.
I'm going blank here. Sandbar. They all decided to go to the sandbar, park their boats and have a party. And so there was a drone that took a picture of them, and now all those people ruined it for the people who were just going out to sea with their family because now the marinas are closed. So, and I also heard all those spring break people that were down here in Miami caught the coronavirus. So yes, of course you're going to catch it. They were all like in these like bars and in these settings of tons of people. I mean, they have pictures, and it's hard, especially if you pay to come down to Miami and for a spring break. I get it, but you know what? Either it sucked that you didn't get to enjoy your spring break, or come down and enjoy a day or two to then catch this virus that you're now spreading. I mean, come on, like how the longer that this thing is out there, the longer we have to stay home. Yeah. So for all those extroverts that don't want to stay home, like stay home, because if we can contain it and stop it, then the faster we get on with our regular scheduled lives. All right.
That's a perfect,
my rant is over.
Perfect segue to get back to the chart here.
That is my rant for today.
So United States, 51,768 people are infected or have been infected. People infected today are almost at 8,100. Deaths today, 122. 75 people have recovered today. So in this case, it's actually the odds.
Is that in general?
Again, all these websites just get stats. I don't know where they're getting their stats.
Yeah, because I want to say that I heard there was way more deaths than 122 in the United States. Is that supposed to be here? Yeah.
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 So yeah, it's not good so far. But we have, so our infection history has gone from basically zero, but then a lot of these weren't even being tested. So now that we are testing, you can see these things are skyrocketing.
Yeah, because now we're finally able to test more. More people are getting tested for it. Yeah.
So we have.
So it's going to.
The good news is that the mortality rate is going down. You can see this sloping.
That's good.
This histogram is sloping down here on the pink. You can't see my mouse, but the box on the left, mortality, deaths, total infected, it looks like it's sloping downwards pretty good. So that's great. And let's see, active cases goes up. I guess that makes sense with as many, with the more tests going on. But we can see here that New York. Yeah. So on the left-hand side, you can see New York is the epicenter of this here. So New York has 25,665 infected, 210 deaths, and supposedly 0 recovered everywhere, which, again, I'm pretty sure that's not correct. But yeah, a lot of deaths there, 210 deaths so far. New Jersey, 44, California, 46, Washington, 111, Florida, 18 deaths. Pretty much almost every state has been affected at this point. It's just a matter of time before this thing is it's just insane how it can, like the science behind it, right? How it goes from species to human spreads, and then just that, whatever that R multiple they call it, where just how quickly it spreads from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's scary. I guess that makes sense, right? When people say that something goes viral online, that's basically what it is. You found something?
I'm trying to see if like a reputable post, but I want to say that recently in Texas, gosh, don't quote me on that, but there was somewhere here in the United States that they reported in one day or something, there was an article saying that there were like 700 cases in one day, deaths. So that's why I think that death rate there is not accurate, but I don't know how accurate that was.
700 deaths in one day?
Supposedly.
I don't know, man. But a lot of these deaths, it's kind of interesting because how much of this can be blamed on...
So here, sorry to cut you off, on NBC News, so I'm going to assume that's a little more reputable because it's on the news, I don't know. Or it's fake news, but deaths in the U.S. 637 according to this map that they have here.
But is it per day?
Total.
Yeah.
Supposedly. This was, let's see when it was the last updated.
And that's where? What state?
This was on today, March 24th. Total, that's total. So California has 42. Washington 110.
So 600 in all of the U.S.
New York has the most, 210 deaths.
What is
so
this?
I don't know where they got. Somebody saw something about 600. That must have been maybe the amount of people they found with it, not dead. But no, this is on NBC News.
Yeah, total deaths 674.
Okay. I thought we had said like 100 and something for some reason.
Today.
Oh, just today. Oh my gosh.
Oh, dear God. Anyways, sorry, everyone. This happens all the time. So let's go back.
My bad. I misunderstood. I was like, that can't be. But
what I was telling you was like 600 people in one day.
Somebody said that. There was something about that somewhere.
You can't listen to people.
No, but it was like a...
So anyways, let's go back to Florida. Florida stats here.
Florida. He should totally come out with a song.
So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So I forgot what I was saying before you jumped in with this.
I'm sorry.
Redundant point.
I apologize.
Crap. Anyways, it's Florida, what, 1,400? Yeah, it's yeah. So what makes sense here is 25,665 people in New York. A lot of people say that. Oh, I'm not even showing the screen. So 25,665 people. New York makes sense. Tight, congested. Everybody's like really close together.
And I guarantee, because it just says New York, I guarantee that that's mostly in the city versus like in the suburbs of New York.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they went into the city to work at one point and
I don't know if this website will break it down. No.
No, I think it's just in general. They only really have, probably be too much to specifically.
And it makes sense on New Jersey too, because a lot of people commute from New Jersey over to New York.
Right.
And
yeah, so I'm wondering if like a lot of these, because I know that there's some people that still have to go into work. Obviously, if you're in the medical field, pharmacists, things like that, grocery store people that work there, restaurants are closed, at least here. You only have takeout and delivery, but you still have like the chef or whoever is doing that. So you still have people going into work. So in big cities like New York, like you said, they take the subway and all that. These people that are still going to work are probably still doing that. So I think that they would have to do a major lockdown. Like, I don't even know.
Well, that's what they're doing. So New York has, I believe they've either shut down or they're in the process of shutting down the subway. Because it's like riding a giant Uber.
Yeah, so you're like going underground where the ventilation's not even that great, so you're just breathing in the virus. Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I could find like a break. There we go, state by state breakdown of the U.S. current. Well, I don't know if this will be updated for. Because what I'm trying to see is like within New York to see if like the city itself actually has New York City, that kind of thing. No, this is the same thing. So
yeah, because there has to be somewhere, because I know that they have that in Florida. Like we know that in Broward, for example, has more cases than in South Miami type thing. So they must have that for every state as well.
I guess, I don't know if New York.
But like New York coronavirus, maybe it'll specify.
Tips, symptoms.
So, yeah, it's just pretty crazy, everything going on.
Well, this gives us a better view here.
Okay.
So this,
whoa.
Yeah, as you can see how it's super concentrated.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I could see. It's just a little hard for us to pinpoint just because it's so
well,
a huge red
New York City is pretty much right here at this main, the darkest red, I guess.
It's pretty much covered.
Circle. Yeah, and then you can see the other. I mean, it's so crazy. The only other, really the safest spots are like in the Midwest, I guess.
Smaller towns, they don't have as many, I feel.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. But a lot of people travel.
Yeah.
So it's just bound to,
Well, actually, didn't you read that the airports might close or something to that effect?
I think everything might close temporarily just because people are so freaked out from this. And rightfully so. I mean, this is, a lot of people are dying because of this. I just don't know I wish I knew the actual stat of like how much, like the flu kills X amount of people, coronavirus kills X amount of people. And then I was kind of like thinking about it. Don't you think that, we were talking about this, don't you think that like cancer kills more people per day?
Right. So
I think. So it's like how?
Probably, but the problem is that it doesn't spread like this virus, which is why they're paying so much more attention to it. You can't, I can hang out with somebody that has cancer. I'm not going to contract it. So that's the difference, However, yeah, definitely.
Oh, I remember what I was saying. So this reminded me. So in New Orleans and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, multiple deaths have been tied to senior citizens. So what I was saying was, I wonder how many people. So is it almost like the flu where if you're already weak, you're basically the bigger target? So obviously that seems to be the case, right? Where you're over 60, you have underlying health issues and respiratory kind of thing, pneumonia, that kind of thing. So these people are already older. I wonder how many people actually, I think another person that was saying this was on the Joe Rogan podcast. They were saying that there was a guy that was 34 years old and died from it. And that's what most of the media put out. But then they didn't mention that same guy, which it's terrible that he
had
died.
Respiratory issues.
Well, no, that besides that, he had, I think he had just overcome cancer. So basically his system was already kind of...
The immune system was already down.
So that's kind of the question, it's, if you're relatively healthy, even if you're older, is it safer? Is it not? I don't know. But we are getting some more information, and I will say this: there's a lot of people on Twitter and social media spreading a lot of like everybody's pretending to be doctors all of a sudden, and they say that they have there's a lot of rumors that there's certain medicines or whatnot that people might be able to use to recover from this. But the problem is that all of these medicines are really, like if you know somebody that has that medicine and you take it, you might do more harm to yourself than not. So I think it's better to just go to the actual doctor.
Yeah, actually, I think that somebody posted something to that effect of what you're talking about, them taking some type of medication and making it worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of he said about let me see, coronavirus medicine drugs. There's one called like Hydra something. Oh, look at this one. Coronavirus. A U.S. man dies after taking drug touted by Trump. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. He had said something about go ahead or I don't know what, and apparently, yeah, it made it worse. So listen to your doctors more than anybody else who might be telling you something on the news.
All right, so this article says, coronavirus, a U.S. man dies after taking drug he thought stopped the virus. An Arizona man has died and his wife is in critical condition after both ingested a form of chloroquine. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's one of them actually. Chloroquine.
Oh, wow.
In an apparent effort to guard against COVID-19. The drug has been touted by President Trump as a possible treatment for the virus. That's the problem.
You cannot say possible. You cannot say maybe. I mean, you need to be for sure, certain that the doctors and the scientists are telling you, yes, tell people to do this. Then you go ahead and you tell people to take that medication. Because what happens is that people hear him say possible and they're like, oh, they don't even hear the possible. They just hear this brand of medication and take it, and then they went and took it.
It is also an additive commonly used to clean fish tanks. Sounds chlorine.
Wow. So yeah, you're literally taking a toxin into your body.
Shortly after ingestion, the couple fell ill, said Arizona-based hospital system Banner Health. The couple were both in their... Well, did the wife die too?
I think you said that she was in critical condition.
Yeah, but they put here they were both in there. The couple were both, were past tense, they died.
Honey, they were whatever they're saying.
I mean, they should have wrote the couple
I get you. Because they're saying they're in their 80s. I can't see what this
60s.
Is from here. Oh, 60s, sorry.
The woman told NBC News that she had seen a televised briefing in which Mr. Trump discussed the potential benefits of chloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19. The drug has been approved by the U.S. and Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, for treating malaria, lupus, and rheumatoid arthritis, but is unproven for use against the novel coronavirus. Yeah, so we go back to that. So they were afraid of getting sick. I don't even think they were sick. That's so crazy.
What?
We saw his press conference. It was on a lot, actually. Trump kept saying it was basically pretty much a cure. We were afraid of getting sick, she told NBC. There are at least 45,000 confirmed cases of the virus throughout the U.S. with at least 592 deaths. Granted, this a couple of days ago. The couple had used chloroquine previously as a treatment. That's what I'm saying.
So they didn't even have it.
No, but check this out. The couple had used chloroquine previously as a treatment for their koi fish, and
they're crazy. Just dumb too, because
But that's the. I don't disagree, but the problem is, if people start kind of spreading these rumors, and unfortunately, that's kind of what it is, right? It's just a rumor. Some people are gonna just I don't know, man. I don't know. Please don't take stuff without. First of all, if you're not sick, just don't go out. Don't prevent it. Don't try, or at least take stuff that's normal, like vitamins and zinc and stuff like that. And again, don't listen to us. We're dummies that that just are on YouTube. We're definitely
go to your doctor. Ask them what kind of vitamins you should be taking.
Yeah.
Personally, we take vitamin C, vitamin B's, zinc. Also, what is that other one with the drops that I like? Colloidal silver. Natural stuff.
Colloidal silver sounds like one of these chloroquine.
Yeah, but it's not. It's natural. Just talk to your doctors, because you need to make sure what you're taking is not going to make things worse.
But there's more of these. Because I know there was one that started with a hydro something. But yeah, long story short, these are just, let's see how. So I can understand somebody being like at a deathbed, and then they're like, screw it, might as well try something. So I can understand that.
Yeah, but not being sick and then taking something that you put in your fish tank, I just don't understand.
I think the problem is that, first of all, Trump or anybody in power should really not be saying these things. Maybe they'll say, like, we're experimenting with certain drugs.
Not even that. Leave it at that. Don't say anything.
That's what I'm saying. But just say we're experimenting with certain drugs that
not
may
experimenting.
Be,
just
No, not.
We're coming up. We're trying to work on the vaccine. Period. Build your immune system. Things that are facts. Eat vegetables and fruit. Vitamins.
You think Trump's going to say that? He's known for like eating KFC, like on his Air Force One.
I'm just saying.
But anyways, it's serious out there. So avoid going out if you can do it at all costs. Try to get deliveries, Amazon Prime, that kind of thing.
And even then, it's scary because they're saying that it lasts like on cardboard boxes X amount of days and stuff like that. So anything that you get, like literally spray down and wipe it off before opening it. Throw it outside.
Wash your
garbage
hands.
outside.
But don't just wash your hands like whatever, like 2-3 seconds. It's got to be like a good solid 20 seconds. They say
they have I think they say when you're teaching your kids how to wash their hands, they say to do the ABCs.
To count the ABCs?
Like, not count, but like sing the ABCs.
Yeah.
So, I think it's pretty much around that time frame of the 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So whether it's that or counting, hey, Alexa, set 20-second timer. I don't know.
I guess, yeah. So, just be smart. Try to avoid social contact, quarantine yourself as much as possible.
Social distancing, people, self-quarantine.
Not quarantine. If you gotta work, just try to be as smart about it as possible. Try to avoid. I don't know what kind of work some of you do.
It is understandable for that in that sense, because there was somebody who posted on one of the mom's Facebook pages that I'm in that they had no choice but to leave their child with their 80-year-old grandparents because their boss was like, well, you either can use your sick days or you need to come to work. So you're stuck. What do?
I guess you
can't be left without a job. You need to bring in money to pay for the groceries that you need to buy for your children.
It's tough. You see, I'm not a fan of bailouts or any kind of thing. So like when the banks got bailed out like in 2008, like for me it was not the right move. But if you are going to bail out anybody, might as well bail out the people, right?
Right.
So if you're going to print money and devalue the dollar and all that stuff, at least do it for like a good cause. Which, yeah, some people say that if you would have bailed out the banks and blah, blah, blah. But in this case, people that can't afford to have, either, I don't know. I mean, if they have to, a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. So at least have those people get some money to be able to pay bills and do some.
A lot of people lost their jobs,
but it's hard. It's hard to see
all those people at the bars, at the restaurants. They didn't lose their job. They'll have their job when everything resumes, but they don't have. They're not making an income.
It's just a vicious cycle because so they don't get paid. That sucks, right? But then the problem is that. What about the landlord that bought the property and he's paying that mortgage?
I'm thinking about that too, though. But yeah, so they still have to pay a mortgage, but then you can't pay your rent because you're not making money.
Of course, it's a cycle. It goes everywhere.
It's a cycle, and it's very hard. It's going to be very hard to break. I think we're going to go into more debt than we already are in.
So yeah, well, the government helping. So for example, like let's say that they tell banks that actually have a mortgage. Hey, look, for a good 2 months, whatever the mortgage payments are for people that qualify, but that's so hard to do, right? Because it's like a case-by-case basis, and you want to do these things quick. There's no way in 2 weeks you're going to be like, identify who can afford, who can't. They're just going to
some people, maybe they can afford, and they're like, oh,
yeah,
I can't.
The one thing that's kind of a little bit of a stressful for a lot of people is, what I understood was that if you're a freelancer or if you're an independent contractor, not an employee, that you won't get help. Like that stimulus check, that $1,000 or whatever it might be. So if you're a contractor, if you're any kind of a contractor, or self-employed, you're kind of screwed, right? So, and there's millions of these people. I mean, these people have small businesses and,
yeah, that's not right either.
It's terrible. There's a lot of people that, if you're going to bail out, you have to bail out pretty much everyone.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose and be like, well, you shouldn't get it. Like, that's not right either.
Well, I guess.
Because what if that self-employed contractor is not making money either? So you get screwed because you happen to just own your own business or whatever it is.
Or just work for yourself. You don't have to be.
Yourself, like me.
Yeah, like a contractor. Like, let's say that you do, and there's tons of companies that take advantage of those. Basically, what they'll do is they'll write. They'll have a lot of independent contractors, so they're not employees, so they don't have to worry about paying the employee taxes and all that stuff. So they'll just get independent contractors, pay them whatever it is, and then the contractor themselves pays their taxes and whatnot. So it's kind of a lot of companies take advantage of that loophole, and it's illegal because. Well, it's illegal in some. I forgot what it is. It's kind of like a weird, blurry line where it's an employee. Even the IRS, like, it's not very clear. It's is it the IRS? Yeah, I think it's the IRS. If you put who qualifies as a contractor versus who qualifies as an employee, they'll give you like some more information. But a lot of companies do the contractor thing to kind of get away with not paying with taxes. Right. So that's another story. Yeah, but the whole point is that there's a lot of people who are independent contractors who are going to get screwed if that is true. And it's scary because then those people don't get paid. They can't pay their bills.
It's a cycle, like we were saying.
Yeah. So then the landlord, who we assume has money, but a lot of people, maybe this person just bought the property and they were hoping to
it's an
use
investment.
That as income,
like if we decided to invest on a house and then those people can't pay. It's like,
exactly. And then that person can't pay the bank, which the bank can deal with it, especially if they get bailouts. But there's a lot of things that it's just It's so. I never thought that we would see this.
It wasn't even something that would cross my mind that can happen.
Especially in China.
Honestly.
Like in China, like I'm so used to seeing for years. I would see people with masks because the smog or this or that. So I'm like, that's over there. That, But now I'm seeing people locally with masks and gloves, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I saw two people heading in one direction, wearing gloves and a mask, just walking in the street. So and speaking of the IRS, taxes are extended to July 15th. So kind of knew that was going to happen. And then I saw somebody post that instead of giving us a stimulus check, that maybe they should just like not have everybody pay their taxes this year. I'm like,
what if you get a refund?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Those people who want a refund. But if you owe taxes, then that would help.
So let's see what Forbes. Is this Andrew Yang? Oh, no, it's Jim Wang. Let's see here. So stimulus checks are not a new idea yet.
Yeah, they're still working on it. The last thing I had read was that they were still working on it. Check.
So it would be based on your 2018 tax returns.
Oh, look at this.
So the most recent proposal from Senate Republicans is that each adult could get up to $1,200 payment, $2,400 in case of a joint return, and each qualifying child $500. So it's a one-time thing. Because I don't know where I heard that it would be like a monthly thing.
Oh,
which
I don't know
to me would be insane.
Yeah, no. One-time thing makes sense to hold over for probably like that month.
With previous checks, you need to file a tax return. For the 2020 stimulus check, you need to be...
So in Texas, Harris County ordered you to stay home, and they said that anybody who violates the order will get fined or spend 180 days in jail. I feel like that's extreme.
So the 2020 stimulus checks under the Republican proposal would have a similar income limitation that starts at $75,000. So I guess as a household, if you make $75,000 or more, the amount would be reduced by 5% of the amount of a taxpayer's income that exceeds $75,000. For joint filers, $150,000. At the other end of this income spectrum, for poorer people, families would get a minimum benefit of $600. Wait, what? At the other end of the income spectrum, some poorer families would get a minimum benefit of $600, a provision that is concerned.
Read out loud better, babe. People are listening to you.
I'm hearing it. It sounds fine.
I know, but...
You want me to scream it?
No.
At the other end of the income spectrum, some poor families would get a minimum benefit of $600. A provision that has raised concerns from not only Democrats, but some Republicans.
Anyways, that is my feed for today. I say we close this chapter. Enough of the coronavirus.
Too much. All right. And if you want some more information, go to this corona.help page. It's a decent website. The guy, I assume it's a guy.
I like the way they designed it.
It was better. It was simple before. Now, I think he had his name before.
Well, more cases, more stuff. They're probably,
Well, obviously, there's ads and stuff, so I'm sure they want to profit from this. But I liked it before. But anyways, it's a fun website to kind of keep an eye on things. Stay home if you can. Don't go crazy. Don't go to bars if you can avoid it. I don't know what bars
are all closed now, at least I think.
I'm saying if there's a bar in your area somewhere in the Midwest that they're still open or something. I don't know.
I don't know if there are, but I guess if there are, don't go. Yeah. Stay home, wash your hands.
The hard thing is what about birthday parties and stuff like that? Like
we've seen people cancel. Actually, my cousin's husband's side of the family, their son turned 18 years old, and they had a Zoom call party. It sucks. But you know what?
It's a responsible thing.
Yeah, or you could celebrate. You cut a cake, just you guys do a little Zoom call and cut a cake again and do a party when all of this is over.
Yeah, but you know what? It's easier said than done.
Of course. Well, actually.
What if it's your kid that's turning 18,
I had one person who, it is what it is.
I hear you, but a lot of people would be like, remember that guy that we talked about that went to the school dance and he got people infected or whatever? So there's going to be people that are like, oh, it's just a one-time thing. And
there's people who I know kids' 1-year-old birthday, 1-year-old, a huge thing for people to have a party, and they've had to cancel. There's people saying that they don't think they're going to see their kid graduate because they're saying that the schools might close. My thing, if that happens, I really do think that the schools should extend, if it's in the summertime, do a graduation.
Oh, for just
for like
graduation?
If we don't go back to school until the end of the year, and I didn't even think about it because obviously our kids are little, but seniors, your parents want to see you graduate. I would hate to not see our kids. I feel like, I hope that they would do.
My only thing is, how are they? But now with online, they can take to school, like all the classes.
They're all doing it online. Like my nephew, he's in high school. Everything's he goes to a private school, so they all have iPads. But
all right, we've tried to end this 3 times, so let's end it.
I know.
Thank you so much for watching.
Craziness.
Like if you haven't liked the video already.
Subscribe
share it.
To our page.
Subscribe. And I'm Tony.
Kristen.
And this is Absolutely Stubborn.